Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Three spooked girls. Three spooked girls. When you want to hear about the paranormal, you get the spooked girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the three spooked girls. Stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you scream along with the spooked girls. Bring on the slaughter. We on that haunted ground. Spooked girls. The three spooked girls.
Hey there, Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on Three Spooked Girls. My name is Jessica, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite ghoul friend, Tara.
Hey, Spooksters.
Today, we're going to be doing episode 2 of Trust Me, the False Prophet. But before we get into that, if you want to hang out with us on social media, you can do so by heading over to Facebook, Instagram, all the places. Our handle is at Three Spooked Girls. And if you want to be part of an online community that just is a bunch of weirdos that just come together for the good of spooky and true crime goodness, please head over to our Facebook group, which is Three Spooked Girls Official. If you are doing anything else on Facebook besides groups, I don't know what I don't even know how to use Facebook anymore, except for Marketplace.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it's just turned into, honestly.
I'm here for groups and Marketplace. I love Marketplace. I'm not going to tangent too much on Marketplace. Tara knows this. I love looking at books on Marketplace.
Yeah.
And I have to share my one big ick of people on Marketplace with books. And so if you're doing this, I need you guys to stop. If you get down to the last book you have, but you go in and upload an edited photo of all the books, just remove all the other books. No one needs to see that every book is crossed out, but reminders of him. Like, that's it. Like, move on. Just post reminders of him.
True.
I was been still trying to get a copy of it, and I'm not going to pay full price at Target.
No.
But anyway, sorry. That was my tangent. But if you want to hang out with us, Tara and I are also in our Facebook group. Mm-hmm. In fact, we post pretty regularly in there. It's Three Spooked Girls Official. And we would love to hang out with you there. If you want to help support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/Three Spooked Girls, or head to the link tree where Tara has put everything. So if you need to find us on the internet, we're in the link tree. Just go there, click, go find us. But in the show notes, there is a link to our Patreon. For little as $1, you get one bonus episode a month. $5 and up, get ad-free episodes that launch the day before. So if you are tired of waiting till Thursday to hear our beautiful voices, one, you should be checking out The Social Seance, which comes out on Wednesdays during its season. But also, you could be checking out us on Patreon a day early. So definitely check that out. And if you have gotten past, like, if you are caught up and you are like, I want more, we have like 7.5 years of content over there. Plus all the stuff we did during the pandemic, all the stuff. So definitely check that out. If you are a reader like Tara and I, we do have a book club. It is the Spookster Literary Society. Each month we pick a book and then we meet on the last Sunday of the month. Sometimes I will say we do a thread version of it. So it just depends. Also, we have lives and we get busy, and sometimes we have massive amounts of recording to do. So that also plays a lot into effect of that. So if you want to read books with us, definitely check that out. Mm-hmm. We do have a second show. It is called the Social Seance Society, and it is a seasonal show, and we just launched. So yesterday was the first one of our spring/early summer season. And if you guys, I think we talked about it on the last episode. Mm-hmm. We are doing horror movies that are based on Disney characters. So yesterday we talked about a movie that was based on Steamboat Willie. And for Tara and I's wonderful commentary on this delightfully terrible movie, and I say delightfully terrible in the best of ways. It's like, that was so terrible, it was good. Like that type of thing. You should definitely go check it out. Like I said, it's the Social Seance Society. It is seasonal, and this season is going to be so fun.
Yes.
Also, if you like books, we just recapped The Hunger Games, and before that, we recapped Twilight. So definitely check those out. We got a lot of content over there for you as well. Are you ready to dive into episode number 2?
Oh boy, yes, I am. Let's do it.
Okay, so we are talking about episode 2 of Trust Me, the False Prophet, and it is titled The Prophet, the Queen, and the Camera. And no, I do not mean like queen, like you go queen. It's like literally the queen, but we'll talk about that. So to recap the end of the last episode, basically Christine Marie or Christine and her husband named Tolga have been doing a documentary about a specific group within the fundamentalist FLDS religion. The specific subject is about a man by the name of Sam Bateman and all of his wives, because just to kind of micro recap, it is Warren Jeffs is in prison. No one's heard from him. Insert this man who is like, I am now the prophet because Warren Jeffs is dead and he speaks through me. And Tolga and Christine, which by the way, guys, these two are badass. Like Tolga and Christine, I just have to say they are so badass. This is like scary shit that they're doing because like people get really hurt when they try to do what they do. So just super duper shout out to them for this.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, this is just legit deep undercover work that they are doing out of the kindness of their hearts to save these girls. Literally what it is.
Right. Because at this point, there's really no law enforcement involved.
No. Oh my God. Oh my God. Makes me so mad.
We will get there. There will definitely be time to rant about that.
Yes.
Essentially, right before the end of the last episode, Sam puts Tolga and Christine in the car with like 3 girls and there's no cameras on. And Christine starts hearing the story that he's telling and has the wherewithal to pull up her phone to like voice memo record it. And he confesses to giving a girl as young as 13 to one of his friends because God told him to do it because it's about the suffering of the world and blah, blah, blah. And gross. And we hate Sam so much. And the episode ends with Christine letting the cops know about this. And now she has to wait to hear back from them.
Yeah.
And that's where we pick up. So Christine thought it's going to be like 3 days tops and the cops are going to go in and fucking knock down a door and Sam's going to be in handcuffs and these girls are saved. And 3 days go by and she has heard nothing. And in true undercover, like investigative journalists, they just keep recording. I mean, and these aren't just like they're sitting there with like an iPhone. Like they have a full fucking camera crew. Like they have a camera, they have a sound mic. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole production.
Right.
It is not janky at all.
No, because reminder, Tolga's a music video producer. So he's got the equipment.
Right. So it's like, it gives also the credibility because like if I were to be like, I'm an undercover journalist and I'm like, here's my iPhone, that's not really like the vibe that would lend to like credibility. What really it is that they look legit. And they are. I want to point out they are legit. Mm-hmm. But they're not there because they're like, we love Sam Bateman. They're there because they're like, we need to save some children. At one point, they're sitting around and they actually like get back in the car with him with the camera on. And Sam answers questions about the confession that he's made. And he's very honest. And I think this is like one of the reasons why people like so often believe cult leaders is that they do lie, but they tell a lot of the truth as well. So they will tell truth that people know. Like, so these girls were very aware that they had been, assaulted. So him saying like this happened and the girls are like, yeah, that happened to me. He's coaching them like there's no shame, there's no guilt. It's just like what it is. You had to suffer for God. That's not what the Bible means when it says you suffer for God. Like that's not what it means. So Sam like tells this and something he says like pissed me off. Well, like everything Sam says pissed me off. But this particular thing he said was, there's nothing more precious to me than the virtue of a woman in general and my own wives. And Christine gets the distinct feeling that Sam wants other people to recognize that Sam is the new Messiah, that he is this prophet, but he's more than just like the next prophet after Warren Jeffs, that he is the second coming of Christ, but like not the second coming of Christ, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Not that like in the biblical sense where like you'd be all taken up to heaven, but like as in like Christ sent another version of himself down to be a leader.
Right.
And Sam says that he believes that people will be like begging for his forgiveness. And it's basically they're going to be like pounding down his door to be like, Sam, forgive me because I remember when I called you creepy because you were trying to marry a 13-year-old. I am so sorry. I mean, that's what Sam basically says.
Yeah.
Right. And Christine asks him, Sam, do you think that there will be more people join the family? Do you think there will be more wives? And he chuckles and says, probably, chuckles again, and then goes, yeah.
Ugh. So gross.
Because he's a nasty.
He is.
Sam is literally the next thing I wrote down. Sam is so creepy.
He is. He's such a predator.
And now we've made it to the intro credits, which is really cool. Like, I love the intro to this. It was so well done.
I forgot to mention this last time, so I don't know if you know this or not, but the woman singing in that is Christine's daughter.
Lola?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We meet Lola in a little bit.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I came across her TikTok.
I love it. I have not checked out her full TikTok. It is on my to-do list, but like we talked about, we're like, oh my God, I saw her. Because she was like, hi, my mom is Christine. I was like, oh, good.
Right? I know. I was like, it's a follow.
Right. So Christine is extremely worried about the girls that live in this house because there are so many that are underage. And she's just like biding her time because she has to like get the police involved and she's waiting to hear back from them. And finally she does. Sergeant David Wilkerson calls her and lets her know that they don't have enough evidence. And he talks about the context of their courting as in the fact that like, it's like something that he could say, like, I made up and I told the girls to say, like, to back me up, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not definitive proof. It's just a man talking. And I get why, like, people are like, but he does have a point. This would be could be very easily, like, written off, especially if the girls, like, change their story or he changes the story. And obviously they say whatever he tells them to say. Unfortunately, David Wilkerson has only listened to that tape one time.
Which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. As a police officer, it's very interesting that you'd only listen to a piece of evidence one time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this to you as he says it, all stuttering and everything.
Okay.
It's not something I like to burden myself with as we go through these cases, because there's a lot of information that comes that hurts a gentle heart. Excuse me, sir. Finally get fucked. That statement offends me to my core.
I literally yelled at the TV, what the fuck about their hearts? What about their fucking feelings? Like, these are children.
Right.
Fuck you, you grown man. This is your job.
Exactly. And I want to take a moment to say, like, I understand that, like, law enforcement, they have feelings, that they have like big hearts. That's why a lot of them go into it. But to act like you're the fucking victim of this evidence and that you can't hold space to help these girls more because of the fact that it fucking hurts your like teeny ass tiny feeling sensibility, get fucked royally, David Wilkerson. Because I want to say that if I was ever in that situation, like if I was in a situation where someone I loved was being sex trafficked, because that's what these girls is happening to them. Yeah. I would want the police officer to care so much more about them than himself. It gives David Mustard vibes. Detective Mustard vibes.
Oh, for sure.
It's more about my ego. And like, I'm really glad that the sergeant was like part of this and he was like interviewed and whatnot. But also at the same time, like, I'm so worked up about it. I got so mad because I was like, the fuck? We find out later that the youngest of his wives was 9. 9. And it hurts you because he's talking about that these women are saying that they can, quote, and I'm air quoting the fuck out of this sentence I'm about to say, they consented to be given to other men, and air quote, air quote, air quote, air quote. Sentence I never wanted to have to say in my life, but apparently had to. Get fucked. So this happens in November of like 2021. I want you to hold that date in your head. So the evidence that they're talking about is a tape. And they do say that the tape is bolstered in the fact that Christine is the creator of it. Like, she's the one who recorded it, so she can be a witness to it. But that's not enough. I also want to point out that I did look up, because they said it wasn't enough to get a warrant in the state of Utah, which is where they were when the recording happened. It is a one-party consent state. And because Christine is involved in the conversation, she had every right to. So it's not like a matter of legal. Like in California, if I had recorded that conversation because we were in a car, there would be a right to privacy. And Sam could have used that against me, but not. I just want to point that out. So if people are like, well, I Googled it because I needed to know. There's, I think, like 12 to 16 states that are like all party consent states. It used to be called 2-party consent states, but we know that conversations can have more than 2 parties. So all party consent states. So also just like a PSA, know what state you live in, because if you record somebody, it's a felony without their knowledge. So I cannot do that in California. Right. I have to let them know that they're being recorded. But anyway, moving on. Just a little PSA for you guys. So Sergeant Wilkerson tells us that there's not enough evidence to actually convict, and they need it to be without a shadow of a doubt. He could say that he denies saying it. He could say that it was manipulated. It could be AI. In this day and age, like, yeah, or it could be like made up. Enter a new person that we just mentioned earlier. Her name is Lola Blanc. She is Christine's daughter. Apparently, she sings the theme song. Did not know. Good for her. Great, great. She's really worried about her mom at this point in time because she's spending a lot of her time with these people. And as we learned in the first episode, and we'll learn a little bit more later, Christine has her own dealings with this type of cult behavior, this type of abuser, and she lost everything. And Lola says that people like Sam are drawn to Christine because she is so loving and like she sees the best in people to a fault. But Christine is also like, I'm the only one who can put him in jail, because she's in this really unique position where Sam kind of is blindly trusting her to make this amazing documentary about his ass.
Right.
And she's playing a very fine line between like, Sam thinks that Christine approves of what he's doing, because they're play acting the whole time.
They're undercover, yeah.
Yeah, they fantastic job at it. So Christine has an idea that she wants to start interviewing the wives. And she tells Sam, like, I want to do this. And he approves, but only under his supervision and only approves what they can say. But this is also a really big step because a lot of people would not put the people they abuse there because there could be a slip. We hear from someone that he has renamed to Mother Anna, and he even brags that he changed her name and she didn't even fight him on it. She's wife number 1. They got married in 2019, and she said that no one at the time was having kids and babies, and her parents started having kids, and it just felt like the right thing to do. By the way, Sam calls a lot of these women by mother and then insert name after. So the next woman we meet is wife number 2. Her name is Mother Shiny. She said, though it was against her tradition, because remember, Warren Jeffs has come out and said, I can't bone down, you can't bone down. No one having babies now. And so she did it because, to quote her, I just wanted a baby so dang bad. So like, she really wanted to have a kid. So she was like, well, this particular section of the FLDS is allowing people to get married and have babies. So that's what I'm going to do. She said Sam's name came to her mind, and she knew that she was about to be part of the greatest events in history. I don't know if this is Sam's like version of pillow talk where he's just like, I'm the greatest man.
Oh, it's gotta be.
But these women are so badly brainwashed.
So heartbreaking to watch.
It's so terrible. And they're just like, every time he talks, they just like smile and they light up and they're like, oh my God, master. And that's literally what it is. And so Christine knows that they're putting on a show for her while she's there because everyone is all smiley and happy and they have babies around. Everyone seems like so totally happy. But she's really concerned about what happens when she leaves and the doors close and they're alone. Like, what is the abuse happening? At this point in time, Christine is not permitted to be alone with any of the underage girls. Well, I don't think she ever really truly is. But Sam is like trusting Christine and Tolga to the point where he starts sending some of his like older wives to them, to their house, which is convenient because guess who doesn't come with them?
Sam.
And this is exactly what Christine and Tolga need. They need the girls to come by themselves. So she asks the wives how they knew that Sam was the one. And she asks in very much like I'm trying to learn, not in a like, ew, why him? Which to me snaps for Christine because
literally
I could not say that with a straight face. Like, why him?
Right.
Ooh, Sam. No, I'd be like, the fuck? Why him?
Mm-hmm.
Why Fat Elvis?
Why Fat Elvis in this tiny little leather jacket?
Exactly.
Which also, by the way, Naomi Gnomes that we see a lot in this.
Yeah.
I saw something online too about her talking about that jacket in like an interview. And she was like, yeah, it was just some random jacket he found online for like 60% off. And then it got there and it was too small, but he insisted on wearing it. I was like, oh God.
I love that.
Ew.
Yeah, it definitely gives Fat Elvis vibes. I'm not body shaming anyone. It's just really think about Elvis at the end of his career. You'll get it.
He's just an evil piece of shit. So
it's okay.
We can roast him.
Right. The overall feeling of why these women picked Sam is that God told them. God didn't tell them shit. Their dads and husbands were like, marry that man. And that one of them says that she's so desperate to be close to the Heavenly Father and that Sam is the only way to get to the Heavenly Father. I want to take a moment and say right now, as someone who self-proclaimed left a cult, if you are in a religion where someone tells you that you have to go through them to get to your God, that's not a good religion. Because the Bible clearly says that you can have a direct line. Like if you believe in that, the Bible does say that like you are allowed to have a personal relationship with God. You don't need a husband to make that happen.
Right.
Fuck the dude. But anyway, so then we meet another person. I think we may have met her in the last episode, but I'm unsure. Her name is Julie Johnson, and she is the mother of 5 of Sam's wives. And she found out because they asked her, like, how did you find out? Because Anna, who is his first wife, is Julie's daughter. Anna goes, oh yeah, when I called my dad knew. Julia had zero fucking clue that her daughter was about to marry this man like thrice her age. Actually, I don't know how old Sam is, but I like to think that he's 60. I don't know why.
Oh, he's like 40s. Remember his birthday was in the last episode. He's like 46 or something.
That's right. No matter what age he is, he's terrible. So Christine and Tolga are discussing how they have to compartmentalize because Tolga's having a problem with it for a minute. Like he's like, it's hard for me to fucking be around this dude. And Christine's like, you have to compartmentalize. You have to. Because otherwise, one slip and they're done. Like one wrong move, one wrong phrase, one wrong look, they out. So Tolga asked Christine if the girls trust her. And she's like, yeah, they do. But like, you know, it's still, they trust Sam more. They talk about Julia. The fucking thing is, it's almost like, is this real life? Like, she's like, you know, they're talking about her. Like, Julia didn't expect to have an empty nest. She thought she was going to continue to raise these girls. And she didn't expect redacted name to leave at 10.
I can't wrap my head around that.
Like, her 10-year-old daughter was given to Sam. And Christine and Tolga talk about how, like, it breaks their heart. So you're wondering, like, how Julia fits into all of this. Julia is Maroney's wife. They had a plural marriage, and I say had because I think she's the only remaining wife. I'm unsure if Julia is married to Sam.
I don't think so. I think she was the only one that remained with Moroni.
Macaroni. Sorry.
Told you guys last episode I was going to mess that name up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I don't know why that popped into my head. Because I think she's his only legal wife.
Well, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's like they didn't want to go through like divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia says that they had been married for 25 years. And that at the time, like before 2019, they had not been hearing from Warren Jeffs. They had no communication. Mind you, there's literally a picture of this dude on their wall.
Oh my God. I was like, jump scare.
You're like, who the fuck? Oh, that the fuck. That dude.
Uh-huh. Exactly. What happened?
I know we're talking a lot about like handsome people, or I called Sam Fat Elvis, but like I have to say this, like, because I started watching the other documentary that like this is like the second, not like the second one, but like, you know, and so the other one was about Warren Jeffs and his dad.
Yeah.
Warren Jeffs had attractive brothers. And I'm like, we followed this scarecrow? What the fuck is happening?
Because the scarecrow was the crazy one that scooted his way in. That's why.
I'm just like, good God, guys. Like, if you're going to, like, I know this. I've said this before in other cult episodes. If you're going to follow a cult leader, make sure he's hot.
Or just don't.
Don't. But, like, at least have some reason to be like, but did you see his 12 abs? Like, come on. Anyway, so Warren Jeffs is on their wall. And she's like, there was no church leadership to, like, counsel them. And so they were having a really, really hard time. And she said that she began to ask a lot of questions to her husband, who's wearing a 2012's Bluetooth in his ear at all times.
All times. That man has it in every time he's on the screen. I think it's just permanently attached.
I've actually started to think that it has like atrophied to him and that he charges it directly.
Oh, for sure. Like when he goes to sleep, he's just like, doop.
Like he docks himself. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
He's made a cutout in his pillow so it fits.
And the reason I say what in the 2012 is because I definitely, when I worked for Sprint in 2012, sold that fucking earbud to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think pretty much now the only people who use it is like dispatchers.
Yeah.
Like people who work in offices that they need to be able to like not have wired headsets to, but like, yeah. So basically what we know is that Moroni and Julia started following Sam, and all of her sister wives and all of her children were given to Sam. And Julia was like questioning what was happening, but she thought to herself, like, maybe this is my own shortcomings. Like, I just don't understand. God hasn't given me the wisdom. He's given it to my husband, and I just need to like figure it out. And I think also the reason she's always around is because those are her kids and her grandbabies. Like, she's like, I have to fucking be around them. And she thought Moroni would not cause her family any harm. Like, why would he want to hurt his other wives or his children? why would he give them to someone who would do that? And then we meet another person who I was like, oh, okay, he got out. Moroni has a son by the name of Warren Levi, who very much appears to not be part of the FLDS anymore, considering he was wearing a backwards hat. I was like, oh, the sin. He said that starting in 2019, Sam began to marry his sisters. He had 7 of them, the youngest of which was 9. When Christine asks Warren Levi, which, by the way, of all the Mormon names I've heard, I do like that one. I don't know why. I think I just like the name Levi.
Okay.
He said, married is just a phrase to say that Sam currently can do whatever he pleases with the girls. And she then immediately asks him, did you ever see Sam kiss the underage girls? And without hesitation, Warren Levi says, yes. And it is a definitive yes. According to Warren Levi, not one of them went easy to marrying Sam. So like the way that they talk in front of Sam about how they became in love with him and could not wait to marry him. And even the way that they talk about it, like when they're just at Christine's house, is not true. That they all fucking fought it. And that many of them referred to him as the devil. And that when Warren Levi was like questioning these things to Sam, that Sam told him that God has given his little sister to belong to him.
So gross.
I just have a really hard time. Like it would be really hard for me to be like an adolescent or to be even be an adult and think about children. Like I don't have children, but like I have lots of nieces and nephews. Obviously I love Bug. It would be really hard for me for someone that like a child that I cared about, if an adult man was like, God told me that they belong to me, I'd be like, where the fuck is my kitchen knife? Because castration is happening immediately. Get away.
Yep.
Mind you, he's talking about his father. He says the girls trusted Moroni and Moroni was owned by Sam. And again, we're back to this Bluetooth wearing motherfucker. He said, Moroni says, I knew the parallel between every one of the prophets and, ellipses, President Samuel R. Bateman. He ain't a president of shit.
No.
I honestly think Moroni has like eaten too much lead.
Something.
Like, I really think something is fucking wrong with this man's brain. Tolga tells us that he has started to spend a lot of time with Sam's male followers, especially Moroni, and he like asks him a lot of questions. Here's a little interaction that happens between them. Tolga asks, how do you know that Samuel is the true prophet of God? And Moroni says, I know he had a position before the Heavenly Father that was above me. I could tell. Like, that's it. That's why this happened. But that's not why this happened. We'll find out in a second. 8 months before Sam called himself the prophet, Moroni started to do some thinking. And he basically was like, I want more wives and I want more kids. Fuck what Warren Jeff said. I want this. And so he starts going out on his own and he gets more wives and he has more babies. And mind you, this is all before Sam. And he knows that he's doing this without the blessing of Warren Jeffs, which is like a huge no-no in the FLDS. You have to have his blessing to do anything. So this resulted in him being shunned by the town and the LDS people. Can you imagine being shunned by an entire town?
That is like so insane to me.
Right?
You're just going to be that much, that gone, that brainwashed that you're just like, nope, doesn't matter. Don't matter. Not going to give me any pause. They just don't get it.
Right? Apparently, he was like he was very worried, not a little. He was very worried that he would never be able to be accepted or be a part of the LDS community again. And that he felt that he was committing a really, 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 really great sin. And he had all this shame on him. And that quote to him, we're going to get the shit kicked out of us and I'm going to hell. Those are not said in the same phrases together, but those were 2 phrases that the man said. And then a light came down from heaven and shone upon a fat Elvis. And this man said, I am now the speaker of Warren Jeffs because he has died. And you all don't know this, but I do, because for some reason I know things that the police don't know.
Ugh.
And I'm saying we can get married again and have babies again. And Moroni was just like, there is my salvation.
Ugh, so gross.
And so, according to Sam's diary, because remember, they referred to it as Sam's diary, not Sam's journal, not Sam's thought book. It is Sam's diary. He wrote, I told him that it was Uncle Warren's spirit guiding me. Moroni wept almost continually. They were tears of gratitude. Sam, just a little critique here. It should be Moroni wept almost continuously, not continually. Well, editing for you for your memoir later on. Not that I need to help you at all, but it bothered me.
No, for sure.
And then Sam, because he is now has Uncle Warren's spirit, and I don't actually know, I can't remember, is Sam actually one of his nephews or just calls him like Uncle Warren?
I think just calls him that. Just some weird cult thing, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Sam starts to elevate Moroni's family and put him up on a pedestal and then fan that ego. And then Moroni is like, oh my God, the prophet, the newest prophet, he loves me. It's literally like brainwashed fangirl. And he gives Sam all of his money, all of his extra sister wives, and all of his kids. No questions asked. Like, boop, boop, boop. And then disappears. He's like, I'm going over here to like fucking Nebraska. Now we're going to flash back into time to February of 2022. And this is like 3 or 4 months after they had given the cops the tape. And at this point in time, they were like, we need somebody who is on the inside, who gets this, who will confirm shit for us, right? Because that's what we need.
Right.
So Tolga and Christine borrow a car and then drive through town, and they pick up an FLDS woman. Mind you, my favorite part of this is Christine is driving and Tolga is filming, and he's in the back seat. And my favorite part is that she pulls up to the house to be like incognito, and she just like leaves the lights that are just like peering into a person's house.
I know.
He has to be like, your headlights are like beaming into that bedroom. And then she's like, oh no, and turns them off. It's so cute. And then we meet a woman by the name of Nettie. And I'm unsure if she has the photos on her phone and she's showing Christine and Tolga, or if they're on Christine and Tolga's phones and they're like, she's confirming. But she is looking through them, and Nettie is like, Sam is a fucking predator. I mean, she doesn't say fucking because she's a good Christian woman.
She says it very severely, though.
Right. I'm just emphasizing it with my with my colorful language. I just didn't want people to be like, Nettie said fucking. No, Nettie did not.
No.
And one of the questions she asked like hit me like a fucking punch in the stomach, which is, why does a girl have to get ruined before she can get helped? Because that's what they're doing. They're like making these girls do these horrible things and then saving them. And then Nettie says that Sam is using scripture to manipulate his wife. So and he's like studying the scripture and he's figuring out a way to twist it so that he can like manipulate them. And this happens a lot in church. A lot of times we hear in these situations that scripture is up to interpretation, just in general. One of the things that really kind of like stood out is that there was one of his wives who seemed to be Velcroed to Sam. If there was a shot of him, she was like at least in his direct peripheral or sitting by him holding his hand. And her name is Naomi, or they refer to her as Gnomes. Like I said, she's always right by his side. She's always somehow like touching him. Like you'll often see her like laying her head on his shoulder or hugging him or, you know, just being really, really close to him. And Nettie says that she doesn't think for herself anymore and that she basically was harassed until she gave in. And then we meet someone, I believe we met her in the first episode, if I remember correctly. Her name is Carol Knudsen.
Yes.
She is Gnomes' aunt. And she said that Naomi or Gnomes was under so much pressure to marry Sam and that Gnomes' mother did not want her to do it, but her caregiver at the time was really kind of pushing it. And wouldn't you fucking know that the caregiver is Liddell Ludd Bestlin Jr., that asshole of a man. And basically he brought Gnomes to Sam and they're cousins. Like Ludd is her cousin. And he just kept saying to her, like, you know, this is what God wants. Sam said that God said that he told him that you're to be his wife. And this is what she's being told over and over again. And when Christine asks her, like, what did you think when you were told this? She's like, it wasn't a positive reaction. It's not like how Anna was like, I was so excited. Or that one, that shiny chick was like, I'm going to have a baby. Like, that's not what her reaction was. She was like, no way. There goes my whole life. Like, she was like recognizing that if she married Sam, that was it. That's all she was going to be, was Sam's wife. And Ludd just kept encouraging her. He would like send her text messages. They were just like, they kept on. And then she said that she searched for the Heavenly Father to tell her that she gave in because he gave her the courage to accept it. And she was basically manipulated into this relationship. And when later she's asked about like, does she have any regrets or anything? She says the only thing she regrets is not becoming his wife sooner, that she fought it for as long as she did. And that was really heartbreaking because when you watch it, you would think that she would be the one who would like stand in front of a bullet for this man. And to know that like her initial reaction was like, get this the fuck away from me, breaks my heart, because it really truly shows how these men, and it's not just Sam, it is Ludd and his brother and then Moroni, they're just like out there really fucking trying to like manipulate these girls into marrying Sam. It breaks my heart. So Sam does these things that are, they call them trainings or teachings. And at first, I don't think he let them in, like Christine and Tolga, in to record them, but then he did. And they start talking about their goals. And of course, Sam doesn't have his goals notebook, but like he asks everyone else to get theirs and their goal cards. And Sam says that it's very, very important to have goals and to write them down so we can remember them and think on them. And then Christine goes, Sam, what are your goals? And hold on, people, because these are some lofty ass goals. This isn't like when Tara and I were like, we should think about goals we want to do for the podcast and we want to hit this mark. No, these are like a deranged person.
Mm-hmm.
So the first goal he would like to have come true, or is going to come true, is he is going to be the most influential person on the earth.
Okay.
Sam Bateman, Fat Elvis, most influential man on the earth.
Okay, sure.
The second, that he and his white jacket are going to be out there governing North and South America and probably England.
And probably England. I was like, okay.
When he said that and he's like, and probably England, I was like, oh, okay.
Let's not.
Blah. I was like, stop involving them. There's been too much trauma. Leave them alone.
All right.
And that he would like to bring the Queen of England to his house, to his home, but she can't come to this chicken coop. She has to come to our future house. And then they pull out a giant rendering of the beautiful new home that is going to be built and going to be built soon. It literally is a fantasy world. But I also want to point out that, like, you know, good job on Queen Elizabeth for, like, you know, getting out of that one.
Right? Fuck.
She's like, Charles can take that meeting. Thank you. I bet if they get Netflix in heaven, she's like, oh, thank God, I'm not here anymore. Like, oh, that man. Her and the real Elvis having that conversation. So, like, Christine is pointing out that Sam is building, like, a fantasy world that is just, like, it's not good. And it's very scary, like, how delulu Sam is. Like, he really has made a computer rendering of this big mansion. And I don't know how he thinks he's going to get it. Like, his business model is, I just get more wives. Well, there's only like a finite amount of like FLDS people.
Right.
And y'all share in the same income around and around and around. There's no way you build in that house. No way that you have this much money or land. You spend it on those Bentley leases. Just saying. But he realizes that he needs another source of income. So he becomes a pseudo life coach on YouTube. And he watches or reads like these self-help books or these gurus and just like regurgitates it. Because he'll be like, remember, your word is, what is it? Like, your word is whatever. Like, whatever that saying is. Like you have to stick to your word. And like, it's just like bullshit. He's like, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. And really, like, if you're just, I mean, granted, if you're just scrolling through YouTube, the thing is, these were not like crazy videos. This was not like showing wealth or something. It's like, you know, he's not sitting in front of like a nice curated backdrop that's like says I've made it and I have wealth, like counter marble tops. He's like on a hike in one of his mountain goat moments where he's like showing the world and it's windy and it's very like not great. Like, you have Tolga right there who could have just directed these for you, sir. Or given you some tippy tips.
Right. And he's like, because he's filming these all on his phone, they're all in the vertical way. So it's not even the full like video screen. It's
right.
Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Ugh, gross.
Nobody likes it. And I don't think he's getting a lot of views, but he thinks he's going to get that. He is just one, guys, he was just one viral video away from like
world domination.
Getting all of this. That's literally like...
That's how he acts.
This triggered a memory of me. Back in the 90s, I think Madonna said like she wants to be the ruler of the world. And I think she said it in like one of those like offhand comments at like an award show. And I remember my mom heard it, good old Janie, heard it and was just like, Madonna is evil and we cannot support her because she wants to dominate the world and only God can do that. No. And I was like, oh, Jane would have loved this.
Oh my God.
Because she would have just been like, in the name of God, the fuck? Leave that to Madonna. So Christine has to do a lot of pretending at this point, and she has to pretend that she loves Sam. Not in like the love you like want to make out with you and be another sister wife, but like in the way that like you would love your neighbor or love your friend. Because like they often part and he'll be like, love you. And she's like, love you too.
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Right? Like nobody wants that. And she was doing such a good job of pretending that other FLDS and people in the community thought she legitly was supporting Sam. And so they were starting to kind of shun Christine and Tolga because they were like, fuck you guys, you're all about Sam Bateman, blah, blah, blah. And it must have been so frustrating because she says like she couldn't go tell people, because then if she told, like if she went up to like, what was the lady who like ran the store?
Like Esther and them, yeah.
Yeah, like she couldn't go up to them and be like, hey, like I'm really just doing this so that we can like, you know, because what if one of them blabbed to the wrong person and got back to one of the wives, and then it's like we have a whole situation.
Yeah, ruins everything.
And so like she couldn't tell, but she understood that this meant it was working and that they would start opening up. And so Christine continues her interviews with his wives, and she's talking to this girl. And I do say girl because the girl's 15. And she goes, how did, from the time you get married, did you learn about the birds and the bees? And the girl is just like, Sam taught me. Like, he taught me himself. Like, nobody was educating these girls. So, like, Sam can tell them whatever he wants is, like, normal and natural and whatever it is, because there's no one else telling them. And she goes, and how old are you? And she goes, I'm 15 years old. And the girl goes on to say, there's no such thing as an underage marriage in the priesthood. And why would he as in God, why would he hold the 15-year-old back from the blessing if she's ready? Meaning that like this girl legitimately thinks she was ready to have sex with a 46-year-old and she's 15. And they just are talking really openly about this, right? Like there's a camera there. They're talking about it. And mind you, they are interviewing this 15-year-old girl. But if you remember from the last episode, we talked about that they AI her face and I think a little bit of her voice, because it doesn't really like sound like a 15-year-old. It sounds like an older person.
Yeah, I think they might have as well.
So they're getting all of this. And Christine is telling the police, this is human trafficking. And the police are like, look, just give us everything you have and we'll look at it. And it was like months and months of nothing happening. And she was getting frustrated. And she just knew that like every time that the police weren't doing anything, more and more abuse was happening. One of the things that Sam had the wherewithal to do was marry some of these child brides' moms, so that when CPS did come and knock on the door and be like, what the fuck is happening? They could be like, there's no abuse happening. Like, there's nothing like that. Their mothers are here. And then we met him in the last episode. His name is Matt Whitkiss. He's a journalist. And he says that of all of the people that he's investigated in the LDFs and these type of instances, Sam is the worst. And he couldn't believe that the police didn't have any sense of urgency. And that's the truth. Like, they did not have any fucking sense of urgency at all. Because the next time we go into this, it's been 7 months later since she got that. Because remember, Christine got that confession and sent it in that night to the police. And it's been 7 months. So now we're in June of 2022. And she is like dog with a bone calling Sergeant David Wilkerson. And she calls him so many times and is like, what's happening? When is it happening? Why aren't you doing anything? And Sergeant Wilkerson is like, we have to tie this up in a nice, pretty bow. And it has to be like presented correctly. And Christina's like, get the fucking FBI involved. And he's like, well, it has to be an interstate investigation for FBI. That is not necessarily true. Just saying. It just has to be like really, really bad. And this sounds like it's really, really bad because if multiple children are involved, they could have gotten the FBI involved. We've seen it happen before. So like, again, with all due respect, fuck off, Wilkerson. But then they're like, oh, wait, you wanted to be like interstate? I got you. They take the girls to Colorado because they have like, I believe one of like the Bistelins have a house up there. And then they also go all the way to fucking Lincoln, Nebraska, because that's where Maroney has a homestead. And so they go. And so Sergeant Wilkerson finally calls Christine back and is like, hey, could you be available on this day at 2:30 to go down and talk to the FBI about what you know? She was like, hell to the yeah. And so her and Tolga go and they're meeting with someone named Dawn Martin, and she is out of the Flagstaff. Christine and Tolga like do a video journal the whole way there. They're talking about how they're worried that if Sam finds out, because if Sam finds out, then they lose, because they are literally the inside right now. If they get caught out, they're going to just cut them out and they will never let another outsider in again. And Christine is really worried about this. She keeps like being like, is this the right thing to do? And Tolga just says it how it is. He reminds her that she's trying to stop child rape. At first I was like, wow, that's like really just like blunt statement. But I was like, that is the core of this.
That's what they're facing. Yeah.
Right. Is that what they're doing is they're trying to stop a man from hurting these children. And he talks about how when they go and they do these like filming, there are always these little girls around and they're always crying and they always look destroyed. And it's like, they have no choice and they just have to do this because this man is telling them that God told him to do this. And you know what? It's really easy to fake what God says because there's no booming voice outside. Like God does not have a megaphone and shouting it out so everyone else can hear it. Mm-hmm. It's just these select quote men have a direct line. And anyway, it's not even like he's hearing it directly from God. He's hearing it from Warren Jeff's spirit, who's hearing it from his father's spirit.
Telephone.
You should really question this just logic because this is the worst case of like afterlife telephone ever. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was like, let the children go. And they're like, go where? With me to be my wife? Okay. Like, don't fill in the blanks.
Ugh, gross.
So now we actually meet Dawn Martin.
Yay.
She is retired at the point of this documentary. She has been with the FBI for 18 years, and 10 of those were in child sex crimes. So Dawn wondered why it had taken so long because the first bit of evidence was an audio recording taken in November of 2021. It is now June of 2022.
Right.
Where a man is literally confessing to trafficking girls. Like, because that's what he's doing. He's confessing to trafficking girls. Mm-hmm. He's saying, I took these women and I gave them to these men to have sex and to do these things. And also, by the way, just as a reminder to everyone, he was there to watch. He had a cuck seat, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
And he watched this so that he could suffer because people have to suffer.
Ugh.
No, that's not. Get fucked. So she listens to the confession. That's the first thing that she listens to. And she's like, what the fuck? And then she starts doing the math. She's like, he has 23 wives and 9 of them are minors. I have to get on this right the fuck now. Like right now. Like immediately, if not sooner, now. And Christine decides that like while they're doing this, because she goes and presents everything to the FBI and then like on their way home, she's like, I am going to be spending every single day at Sam's. There is no breaks. I am going to be looking because the thing that they do need, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, is that they need an insider to come and tell, like an actual person who's involved with this. Not just someone who like has seen it from inside the FLDS, but someone who's involved, family, victim, someone like that to come and speak. So she's like, I have to be around them as much as possible. It's every day. And so she just like, the FBI is like, these recordings are great. So basically, Christine and Tolga are going and they're just recording everything and then immediately getting home and sending it to the FBI, which is like, again, snaps for them because fucking amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like, we need someone to testify. So she starts like dropping hints. And I do mean like when she says dropping hints, these were not subtle. This was like my cat knocking a glass off the counter worth of subtlety. She would be like, so there's this book, it's called blah, blah, blah. And I think you should read it because it talks about like when you're afraid and of like being abused or being like preyed upon. And I was like, oh shit, Sam's going to kick her out.
No, but Sam's dumbass is like, yeah, that's great. Yes. No means no. Mm-hmm. It's like, that worked out perfectly.
Because like, she's like, these are the red flags you should look for. And Sam is like, yeah, those are red flags you should look for. I have all those, but don't worry. You should look out for them.
You should look out for them elsewhere.
Right? If it's not from me, but I bet that's what he says in private. Like, if it's not from me, you should look out for it. Because I'm here to protect you.
Totally.
But he does not say that. So they're like, we just need one of these women to talk. And then about 2 weeks later, something happens that's quite miraculous. Julia, if we remember, Anna's mom and a mom of 5 of the wives of Sam, starts coming around. She has a toddler. Her and Maroney have a child.
Moroni.
Sorry, did I call him Maroney?
Yeah.
Macaroni. I hope he gets boiled. It's a bad man.
Fair.
So Christine and Tolga have like a beautiful amount of animals. They have like horses and goats and all of these chickens and stuff. So it's like really cute. So Julia's bringing her little toddler over to see the animals and visit. And so they're having good chitty chats, you know, and like not pressuring. And then Julia starts coming over a lot alone where she's like making up reasons. Like Christine looks out her window and she's raking leaves and she's moving fallen tree branches around the yard. And she's just any time she can spend at their house, she is. And so she's like, I have to go and talk to her. And so she goes and approaches Julia and starts really talking to her about this and is like, is there anything you want to tell me? And Julia is like, I think Christine is the one I could ask for help, which is like amazing. Julia is like part of this, but she's like realizing that she also wants to get her daughters out of this situation and she needs someone to help her. And that's Christine. So she's like, wants to ask for help, but she's unsure. And she tells her some things, very vague. But Christine tells her, look, anything you say to me, I will never tell to Sam. So you can say whatever you want. And then she's like, okay. And she's like, there's a lot of suffering, but she never says anything negative about Sam. And Christine is like, okay, I understand. I need you to hear my story. And then she proceeds to tell her story. She takes her to her kitchen table and she pulls out a file box full of stuff. And she starts walking her through about her own false prophet, about how she learned that obedience was key to her internal life and that she had to do these things. And that, you know, the guy that she had like become a wife of a prophet had made her like sell all her precious like materials and all of these things, and then told her that she had to be separated from her children, and so literally like removed her, and then was basically, well, not basically, he was like trafficking her out to men because that she had to go through this like physical suffering of this like physical relationships with these men so that she could be closer to God, which is not a thing, not a fucking thing. I've read the Bible a lot in my life and it never says that in there one time. And that she just kept doing this because she knew that there was going to be a divine payoff at the end. And apparently this dude was like, I need proof that you're actually doing this. And there's like a photo, there's like, you know, her face is redacted and like, you know, her privates are redacted. But like, she's in like a blazer and a tie of this guy. And she did this because she was like, I'm being told to. And she's like, I was so brainwashed. And she tells Julia, little by little, I lost myself and I lost everything about me. And then it just like, you know, she had to get out of it. And she eventually did. And, you know, this is a really like interesting thing for Christine to do because she could have kept that inside. That's probably a very hard thing to talk about, but it gave Julia enough trust because she's like, wow, she's sharing this story with me. I need to trust her about this. And so Julia is like, I need to tell her. And this is where the cliffhanger of this episode ends, which is not that hard because in true Netflix, you could just watch the next one.
Well, the cliffhanger to mention, though, is Christine has a bunch of stuff highlighted. And Christine kind of like prompts her and is like, does any of this sound familiar to you? Like, do you kind of like the stuff you're thinking about resonates with that? And she says, actually, a lot of it reminds me of Sam. And then boom, that's where we're done. But it's like shook because she's saying it finally.
Right. And there's a camera there because it's like one thing for her to say it off camera. But it's insane because like really, when you think about it, her husband, Moroni, is the dude who is kind of started this. It gave Sam the platform. And I could see how this would have been so hard as I'm not a mother, but I could imagine what it would be like to like sit there and have someone tell you like, these are choices out of your control. And this is what God has said. I mean, I like growing up in a cult, like not like this kind of a cult, but like a lot of times people used God as a way to like not trigger you, but manipulate you. And be like, this is what God thinks and this is what God wants for you. And you have to answer this call. And so having that insight, it's really powerful because like your whole life, you've been told that this being who you feel this like overwhelming emotional connection to is like your ultimate father. And obviously like in this fundamental church, like fathers let their daughters down a lot. So to have like a deity that won't let you down is huge. And so I think it's so brave of Julia to be like, I'm going against, probably in the moment she's saying this is like everything inside of her is screaming, shut the fuck up. And the fact that she like pushes through and to quote Gnomes, finds the courage, like really is powerful. And I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm hoping at this point, like, that Sam is in prison. I have not looked it up because I'm assuming he is, because otherwise, why would there be a Netflix documentary about it if he was still out roaming around in his Elvis jacket?
Right.
I love that Gnomes is like, yeah, it was too small. And probably like everyone had pointed it out to him that it was too small. But he was like, fuck that. I'm gonna wear my fun jacket. Okay, sir. But yeah, if you are watching along with us, let us know how you feel so far. This is a very well done documentary. And I'm just going to say it. People who are doing documentaries, this is the bar.
Absolutely.
This is the bar. Meet it. Because, I mean, I get that a lot of this is, but it's not just the fact that they have this footage like inside with these families. It's how it's presented. It's how like the thoughtfulness behind the questions that they're asking and answering. And it's the way that like Christine and Tolga are willing to kind of like accept the fact that they could look really bad for like not participating, but like they were willing to look bad in their community to get this, to help these women. It makes me respect them so much.
Absolutely.
It's so good. So if you haven't watched it, get up to episode 2 and we'll be back next week with episode 3.
Yeah.
We will see you then, guys. Toodles.
Bye.